Good morning, everyone. So as you can see that there is a spaceship here. So it is going to take all of you. It's a little bit away from the Earth for a few minutes. So actually, all of you have some ideas about recent telescopes, and yesterday some of our friends gave the presentation about Hubble and James Webb telescope also. But in today's presentation, I am going to discuss about the future. So my topic is solar irradiation lens for extreme resolution image, a technique that has a real potential to map the alien worlds. So humans have been looking up at the sky for as long as we have been humans, and believe it or not, universe is way bigger than any of us have ever imagined. Due to the Kepler mission, we now know that there are billions of extrasolar planets, or we call them exoplanets, in our own galaxy. So due to that fact, we estimated that there is something about 40 billion or so Earth-like planets, at least in terms of size and mass. But only the information of size and mass is not sufficient to declare that those planets as habitable or not for life. So we definitely need more information. James Webb Space Telescope is helping to take images of some exoplanet, but those images will not reveal anything more than a single dot in orbit around that star. To study that, we want to study the planetary surface. And if we want to visit one of those planets, it sure would be nice to know what lies at the end of such a many-decade journey. So I mentioned that about the image as a dot. So till now, any telescope image any planet as a dot only. So what does that mean? So to understand that, first let's discuss about the resolution of the telescope. So the diffraction limit of a telescope is inversely proportional to the aperture of the telescope. So to make a good diffraction limit, we definitely want a bigger aperture. A telescope diffraction limit is the best possible resolution that it could achieve. And if we try to create an image of anything smaller than this limit, it will always get blurred out to the size of the diffraction limit. And that is the reason that we are unable to get a multi-pixels image of any planet, because the angle that any planet formed on the telescope is smaller than its diffraction limit, because the planets are very far away. So let's say if I want to image a planet of Earth-sized planet from that is 100 light years away, I want to make a single pixel image. So I have to make the telescope larger than about 90 kilometers. If I somehow manage to make that bigger telescope, then still the story doesn't end here. I also need a great integration time, which is about 100,000 years. So if you're willing to give that much time, then it's good. But I'm not looking for that. I just want to look image something like that, 1000 by 1000 pixel image. This image, it was composed 4 months of data taken by NASA Terra satellite. To see the planet of 100 light years away more than a dot, we need a telescope way bigger than New York City. So it is always about the size of the telescope. So if we are talking about size, let's recall the picture of a black hole MT 787 A star. Using the telescope across the whole planet, give us the planet-sized telescope, which is called an Event Horizon Telescope. Event Horizon Telescope. It is the Earth-sized telescope, but still we cannot repeat this trick because, to the visible light, because this requires exact measurement of the arrival time and phase of the electromagnetic wave, which get harder at a shorter wavelength. So we need to go further away. So let's take a hypothetical situation. If I want to get 1000 by 1000 pixel image of Earth-like planet, which is at 100 light years away, I have to make the telescope approximately 90,000 km wide, which is approximately 7 times bigger than the Earth. If I somehow manage to make that telescope, I cannot set that telescope in my laboratory. So I have to place that telescope in the space. So if I place that telescope around the Earth, the tidal force of Earth tear it apart. If I look for Sun, if I place that in the orbit of Sun, the radiation pressure of the Sun will kick this out within a year. So it will become instant solar cell. And result of so much hard work is no image. So what we can do? We have to definitely go further, more further in the size. So here is a trick. So we cannot capture from Earth. So let's say we send our telescope. Okay, not in the direction of the planet because it is very far away, in the opposite direction. Such a way, we can draw a straight line from the planet Sun and this telescope, and there is at such location that somehow, I will explain that later, somehow the rays coming from this planet will pass near to the Sun, and Sun will bend this ray somehow and focus at this location, and we get the image. Now at this point, forget about the New York size telescope. At this spot we have a star size telescope. The result is a brightness amplification of an exoplanet by a factor of 1 trillion and the surface magnification detail by a factor of 100 billion. This is enough to let us make its continents, ocean, even the search of light, like night lights on the planet. So the technical name for the machine is called SGLF, where I place my telescope, and we need to take our telescope at SGLF. So let's say how it works. So let's take a quick look on general theory of relativity. So Einstein published a paper in 1950 about general theory of relativity, in which he said if there is a mass in a space, it will distort the fabric of space-time in a way that it will create a positive curvature. So if the mass is sufficient high enough, so we can even observe that curvature with the light, because the light always travels in a straight line through the space, and if the space is bent, so light is still traveling in a straight line, but it will appear as bent. So we can see if a light passes through a heavy object, it will bend, and there is something else which bends the light. Can anyone tell me? There is something else which bends the light. Simple lens, optical lens. So optical lens bend the light, and a heavy mass bend the light. So I can call this heavy mass something like a optical element, but not exactly the lens, because it does not bend like the way lens do. Because lens try to focus the light at a single point. We design it in a way, but the gravitational object do not do that. We get something like stretched images of the galaxy, like this image. So let's say here is a sun, an optical element, and this is the position of the source. And when the light come towards that optical element, it will bend and focus at our Earth. So when my friend is trying to observe that planet, so she will think that this ray will come from here in 2 dimension, and that ray is coming from there. So in 2 dimension there are 2 virtual images. Now convert this scenario in 3-dimensional image. So what we will see? We will see a ring here. So we will not see the image like we just capture the image from our phone. While with this optical instrument, we will see image as a ring, and that ring is called Einstein ring. I will talk about that later. So to move further, let's discuss about the solar gravitation lens and its spherical aberration. So at this scale, we all have studied how to remove spherical aberration. Can anybody give me some idea? How can I remove spherical aberration at this stage? Actually, I asked you a wrong question. We do not need to remove the spherical aberration here, because spherical aberration is not a villain in our story. It is actually pleasant. Let's see how. The gravitational deflection angle of the light which passing through the heavy mass is defined as theta, which is inversely proportional to distance from the sun, and it is derived from using general theory of relativity. So I can easily find the minimum focal distance using some relation of angle and radius, and if I substitute the value of solar radius, I can find a minimum focal length, because the light just passes through the light ray which skim the just sun surface will focus here. There will no light will come before this point, and after that point, as I mentioned that theta is inversely proportional to r, the ray going away from the sun will convert at more distance, because angular deflection is high. So for sun, I will not get a single focal point. Rather than I will get a focal point, and after that their focal point are from this point to infinite, they are all the focal point. So I get the semi-infinite focal line. So here one thing more I want to tell you. As during the study of this, I was very confused because if somehow I managed to send my telescopes for so far distance, then how would I stop that telescope at that location for the imaging? So we do not need to stop our telescope, because once our telescope reaches this location, then after that it will give me the image and for entire my lifetime and yours obviously. So let's say for this library, if my telescope is here, so the light rays are traveling before and also after. So this blur which is created due to spherical aberration, and this form thing is called Einstein ring. So here is an image of an Einstein ring which is captured using luminous red galaxy, and this is the image of a blue galaxy. Such a way the red galaxy is placed somewhere which focal point is coming to Earth, and we captured the image of a blue galaxy which is farther away from that galaxy. So there are some difficulties of let's discuss with the geometrical optics. So we can just use the pinhole concept as we want to image an object with the pinhole, and we will move the screen further and close, then image size will change. So in a similar way, we can estimate the size of our image. So if this is the target, I am just talking about Earth like the planet in my all examples. So if this, so I can just easily calculate the size of the image with this formula. So I got the minimum focal length 550 astronomical, that I forgot to tell you in the last slide. So using this, I calculated the image distance 1.25 km. So if now somehow I managed to send my telescope there, still the image is so large that my telescope is within the image. So now there is a difficulty, how would I capture the image? So the telescope does not image the planet, but instead a small fraction of the planet. So as an example, a focal plane detector 1 meter in diameter would image a 10 km area on the surface of the planet. So this way, if my telescope is 1 meter, has a 1 meter aperture, it will capture 10 km area of the planet at a time. So there are two techniques for that imaging. One way of mapping the planet might be to scan, raster. I will scan my planet by pixel. I will change the position of my telescope and I image the planet pixel by pixel and construct the whole image. And other way is a swarm, which we send a large number of small spacecrafts. But the difficulty does not ends here, because the planet is not sitting like a particle who is ready to that someone may take my picture. It is more interested in revolving its star. So as the planet is revolving its star, and our telescope is also not still, our sun is also moving around the common gravitational center of mass of the whole solar system. So can we use this feature image like we will use the single linear array of telescopes and the system will move, we will capture the whole image? It will not be possible because the high speed of the planet, like 30 km per second, so there will be not the sufficient exposure time to capture the image, or we will capture the more blurry image. So the solution of this all motion will add up to a predictable wobble of the telescope. The wobble is slow enough that the spacecraft can use the iron microthruster to generate the necessary sideways velocities to cancel out these motions. So there is another difficulty. Sun has its own planet, and so it does not like that they are capturing the planet of any another solar system, so it tries to blind us. So for that we use a coronagraph, so that we are safe from the sun direct radiation. And even using this coronagraph, we cannot just take our Einstein ring just after the coronagraph, because the solar corona is so intense at that spot. So we can image our exoplanet like somewhere that distance where the effect of coronagraph is end. But the difficulty is that the initial focal point was 550 AU, but at this point we reach at 2200 AU. So if even we move 25 AU per year, which is quite impossible, for now. So we will get 88 years. So there is no meaning of that. So for that, I am not going into much detail, but some scientists managed to make a special type of chronograph which block the inner part of corona also, and so our Einstein is reduced to the small location at near 658. So we can now we can take our image for here on, from here on. So as I told that we cannot make 1.3 kilometer bigger telescope. So if I make a 1 meter telescope only, so the Einstein ring will not dissolve like that. Even I will see the ring like that. So the parallel rays passing away from the sun are not meant the parallel rays passing close to the sun. When we see an optical object from the focal plane through SGL, we see a bright ray from the rays that are in the focus surrounded by the parallel rays from the rays that are out of focus, that generate a blurring effect called spherical aberration, and light from different location of exoplanet form their own ring which correspond to a different pixel of the image. So thanks for the spherical aberration, these rings will blur together. So blurriness is not a problem actually. Blur is actually the thing that we want a point image at a specific point, but that image is spreading out to the unrequired pixels. So if we know the exact cause of the blur, we can technically remove that blur and we get a sharp image. So there is a reconstruct part. If I try to scan the whole image pixel by pixel, so that way I can reconstruct the image. So we can see for every location there is a different intensity of Einstein, and I would reach to that point. So for this, the scientists generated a point spread function where there are some variables: position of the telescope, brightness of each image at those positions, and optical properties of SGL. So due to that, we know the reason of blur, and we can convert this image into a sharp image using the deconvolution. So here is a just simple way that how this will work with time, because our telescope will not give our image in a single time. It will give this image in the periods of time. So first image is blur, and with the time we can reach with the good location, the good resolution. So this is the simulation result by Toth and Torshire in that paper published in 2020. So this they constructed a image of the Earth from 100 light years through the solar captation lens using the point spread function, and using the deconvolution they reconstructed that image through the SGL. So this was my presentation.
In this concept, sun is stating that in S. So, is there any reflective index analogy with respect to the sun?
Yes. We can treat the sun as some kind of material which has refractive index, but that refractive index will not be constant. It's like a normal optical material. While the refractive index will be in a similar way that I described the angular resolution inversely proportional to the distance from the sun. So refractive index will reduce as we go further and further away from the sun. What is the? Okay. This is the sun, let's say. So the distance from the sun is I defined as the R. So as I go further away from the sun, the refractive index will get reduced with this relation.
Does a solar storm affect the imaging?
Yes?
Does solar storms affect the imaging?
No. Solar storm will not affect the imaging because we are placing our telescope away from 550 AU. We will start imaging from 650 at astronomical units. Well, astronomical units is the average distance from Sun and Earth. So it is nearly 0.01 light years. So that will not be a problem.
अभी तक किसी ने इस तरह से कितने ऑब्जेक्ट्स डिटेक्ट किए हैं सन को एज ए ग्रेविटेशनल लेंस?
सर अभी तक हमने सेम कंसेप्ट का यूज करके गैलेक्सी से इमेजिंग करी है। जब ये हमारा यहाँ पर अर्थ है और यहाँ पर एक गैलेक्सी है, और इस गैलेक्सी को लेंस मान के हमने यहाँ पर किसी ऑब्जेक्ट को इमेजिंग की है, क्योंकि इसका हमें डायरेक्टली फोकस अर्थ पे मिल गया, हमें टेलीस्कोप भेजने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। लेकिन सन के लिए हमें अपने टेलीस्कोप्स को भेजना पड़ेगा। बट
जो साइजेस बता रहे हो तुम, वो साइजेस के तो पॉसिबल नहीं है टेलीस्कोप।
yes sir, I made some backup slides for that. Sir, for that we made a technology.
शॉर्ट भेज रहे हो।
Yes sir, we will send in the groups of the telescope, which will be 1 meter, 2 meter bigger telescope in the groups, and this is called as pulse of string of pulse, and we will send a group of telescope within 10 years of interval. So even if one will make some mistakes, so other group will learn from that and it will make its orientation right. Or
एलियंस को ढूंढ के रहा है। चल ठीक है, बट going to be very expensive.
sir, as I wrote read in the research paper, so have you mentioned that this mission will not be very expensive, because we are not carrying fuel in that. These are solar cells. They are solar winds, and we will set something like that. The solar pressure, radiation pressure, will give them fuel, so they will not contain fuel.
किस तरह से जा रहे हैं?
Sir, 650 astronomical units, and उसके आगे लाइफ टाइम चलता है।